Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about SUI because I think there's one major thing that really needs to happen before we can see SUI make its next major move to the upside. And so, we're going to be going over that today. We're going to talk a little bit further about what that could look like, all that type of stuff. But before we do jump into that, I did want to take a quick look at the crypto bubbles because what we can see is a pretty green day overall. A couple reds here and there. We actually can see that the virtuals is one of the ones that is sitting in red. A little bit of an interesting thing there just because we have seen virtuals basically look unstoppable since then. But we look, there's so many other things throughout the crypto space that are moving and moving pretty well. Overall, we can see SPX is one that's looking like it's making some pretty good gains. We're seeing AI16Z, some of these other Pepe, Doge, Bonk. One thing that we are seeing though is it looks like we could potentially be seeing another rotation into meme coins. And that could maybe mean that we potentially see this whole AI agent rotation that's kind of been happening over the past several weeks. Maybe we see that kind of die down a little bit. And we see, some of the more like traditional Solana meme coins run. We can see, some of the leaders in the space are kind of doing that right now. We've also seen kind of a much larger pump throughout just like all of the meme coins within the Solana space so far as well. So definitely a possibility of that happening. I am probably going to be making another video on virtuals as well, just to talk a little bit about kind of how things are looking there, what we're starting to see, a lot of that type of stuff. But we can see overall a lot of things that we've been talking about on the channel recently, seeing some pretty decent pumps, ICP doing quite well, ADA doing quite well, Jasmine doing quite well, Solana also being another one that's doing well. And then we did a Tau video a couple days ago that's also been moving up pretty decently as well. So if we do look at the SUI chart, we can see something that obviously, looks pretty nice. Again, we're looking at the daily candles here. So let's zoom in on this a little bit. And here we can see some pretty good stuff happening, obviously, right? We had this kind of first layer or like zone of liquidity. We did dip kind of barely into that on the 30th of December. Ever since then, it's been pretty good. We've mainly been in this zone of liquidity, but we have today seen a breakout where we're very much out of this zone of liquidity, unless we see some level of flash crash. This candle very likely going to close, kind of making it through this level of resistance. The next level of resistance is going to be kind of between this like $4.75 and $5 range, which again, we've seen run into multiple times and get rejected multiple times. So who knows, maybe this could be, this could finally be the run where we break $5 on SUI. It's possible. What we can see though is, I have made these trend lines. It looks like we're forming into a little bit of a wedge. We could see, really strong moves to the upside, but we also have seen price consolidate pretty well up between like this like $5 range and even down to like the $4 range. So really between $4 to $5 is where SUI's been for the better part of close to a month. It's consolidated really, really nicely. Usually when we see moves to the upside like this, let's zoom out a little bit just so we can get like a better picture here. But usually when we see a move to the upside like this, you don't see a consolidation up here, right? Usually you see a consolidation maybe down in like this range. And so the fact that we have seen a consolidation up here at such a high watermark is really, really impressive and very bullish for SUI overall. However, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did want to talk a little bit about kind of some other like key things that I think we are going to need to see from SUI in order for us to like really be breaking through some of these new all-time highs and make another run up to, maybe $10 or $15 or whatever various price predictions, we might have for this run. There's a whole bunch of different people with a whole bunch of different price predictions. So I'll leave that, that's not the purpose of this video, at least today. So we'll kind of leave that there. But what we can see, things looking really, really good overall from just like a macro perspective on SUI. Definitely still very bullish. I know recently there's been a little bit of, I don't want to say pessimism, but a little bit of like maybe impatience or something like that's been coming on lately from SUI, just because it hasn't, we saw this happen, right? And then we've seen it kind of not really do a whole lot within the past like month or so. But overall, we just need to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture, right? We're still on like an ascending trend line here. We're starting to consolidate up at all-time highs, which frankly is very, very surprising and very uncommon for crypto projects to do that. So this is all something that's looking really, really good. And we could be looking at seeing SUI primed for that next move here sometime in the near future, which would be really great to see. If you are looking to trade SUI, Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, anything like that, just feel free to use my link in the description below. I am still working with BTCC. They are still doing that fantastic 10% bonus on first time deposits, which is, like I said, really, really good deal. I mean, basically free money if you're looking for another place to trade. Also, this is in addition to the extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user. So it's definitely like a really, really nice deposit bonus just in itself, but that is in addition to the 10% bonuses. So really good deal there. They've been around for 13 years, so you don't really need to worry too much about them being like a here today, gone tomorrow type of exchange. Also 300 plus crypto futures. So if there's something that you're wanting to trade, they probably have it. And then also up to 500x leverage. Again, I'd strongly discourage using leverage this high just because it's basically gambling if you ask me. But if you have some strategy that works, or whatever, go nuts, I guess. But otherwise, no VPN or KYC necessary. So again, another option for you if that's something that's important. So again, like I said, use my link in the description below if that is something you're interested in. You're looking for a new place to trade or a second or third place, whatever. Moving on, I did want to take a quick look at the SUI ecosystem because, in my opinion, kind of like what I said towards the beginning of the video, this is, in my opinion, again, the really, really important thing that we need to see from the SUI ecosystem, or from SUI just generally, in order for us to see that next move to the upside. Because again, if we look at kind of what SUI's up against, we've got Solana, we've got Ethereum, we've got BNB, we've got, what else, Cardano, we've got XRP, a lot of this different, and maybe XRP and Cardano aren't necessarily, I would say they probably fit in a different bucket from the others, but we'll talk about that here in a second. But what we can see is SUI is essentially competing against these other crypto projects that have very strong ecosystems built around them, right? I mean, Solana's got a ton of meme coins. A lot of like the newer, let's say like DePIN, AI type projects are building on Solana. So Solana's seeing a lot more of like some of the upstart community. Ethereum's kind of more of like the legacy community, right? So I mean, that's where NFTs had their first run. That's where DeFi was born, a lot of this type of stuff. And so they have like these different things that they're doing on their chains, and there's a lot to do on their chains. Well, so far, at least with SUI, it's a pretty like bare ecosystem, I would say. And if we go in and look, we can see, and obviously USDC the biggest, but that's kind of just a cumulative between all chains. After that, obviously we do have the SUI token itself. But what we can see here is a lot of the like top ones are either stable coins or like bridged Bitcoin. So other than DeepBook and Cetus, there's not really anything within the top 7 or 8 that are like actually real projects building on SUI. I mean, even after that, we can see Lo-Fi and Sudang. I mean, they're more like meme coins on SUI, right? So obviously, while meme coins are good and everything, they don't really have anything to do with like building the value of the chain. And so, the fact that we've got DeepBook and Cetus kind of being the only two that are, I guess SUI Lend if we look here, but they've got 3 projects that are over $100 million in market cap. SUI Lend at just over 100, Cetus at just over 200, and then DeepBook over here at 300. Other than that, I mean, we're looking at stable coins, bridged Bitcoin, or meme coins basically. So, and again, this is for anything over 100 million. After that, we'd start dropping in market cap pretty quick down into like the 50, 60 million. So overall, I mean, this to me is like the next big thing that we need to see out of SUI is we need to start to see some like actual adoption coming out of the SUI ecosystem, because as I've talked about in prior videos, when we talk about, or when we take a look at DeFi Llama and we take a look at all the stable coins on chain and things like that, there's not really much growth in stable coins on SUI. And I think a large part of that is because there's not really a whole lot to do there right now. And so, of course, I mean, this is just kind of something that every chain goes through is a new chain. So I'm not saying that this is necessarily like a bad thing, but this is something that we do need to like essentially stay tuned into, make sure that we are seeing this essentially continue to like mature, and there's more stuff to do on SUI, there's more like reasons to be there, all this type of stuff. Because if there isn't, essentially we get back to the vaporware comment where SUI essentially like, it claims it can do all of this stuff, but it can't actually deliver any of it because nobody's really willing to like build on chain. There's nobody like that has much of an interest, any of that type of stuff. So anyway, like I said, not that SUI is at risk of this right now, because obviously things take time, and all good things, nothing happens overnight. Anyway, that's what I'm keeping an eye on. I'm also keeping an eye on stable coins on chain as well, just because again, I've kind of explained my reasoning for that in the past. Anyway, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and subscribe, because it really, really does help me out. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, just feel free to drop those in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of those, so if you have anything you want me to see, that'd be a great way to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.